Okay, good evening everyone. Welcome to the Monday night meditation. Hello to anybody online. Is there anybody, it's their first time here for the Monday night meditation? You've all, first time here? Okay, nice. You ever done any meditation before or a little bit? Okay. I'll give you a basic rundown of what we do here. So usually we sit for about 45 minutes to an hour kind of thing. And then after that, if you do have any questions after that, you're more than welcome to ask. We have a short period of time where you can ask questions. So that's really the strength of it. So that's what you're in for tonight. So yeah. Okay, very good. And with that, we might get started then. And if you haven't already, you can find a comfortable position. And just gradually and gently let your body start to relax and sink into the seat. You can notice all the different sounds in the room, the sound of my voice, maybe the sounds outside. Just become aware of what's happening around you right now. And we can become aware of the feeling of the body sitting here. The weight of the body as gravity pulls it into the seat. The touch of your body against the seat. The different kinds of temperature between any exposed skin and those under your clothes. You can even notice the slight movements that your body makes as it continually adjusts itself and balances itself. Even the way that it ebbs and flows with the breath. You can even notice in your heart region, maybe the underlying mood or emotions that you're having right now. Might be one of calm or relaxation. Might be one of ease. Or it even might be slight agitation. Just notice how you feel in this moment as you start to settle down and settle into the position to begin the meditation. There's no rush. We can just be patient and allow things to settle by themselves. Just like you'd leave a glass of muddy water on the table and you leave it still. It takes time for it to settle down, all the sediment to drop to the bottom. We keep playing with the glass, moving it, stirs it up again. If we just leave it and drop it, the water will start to become clearer and the sediment will sink to the bottom. Notice your whole experience like this glass of muddy water. Just rest and allow it to settle. No need to do anything. No need to control anything. Just simply leave it. And do nothing. Just sit in stillness. No need to try. No need to put any effort in. Just simply be. Just allow yourself to settle and become still. Patience. Just give up this struggle of wanting things to be another way. Simply nothing to do. But wait. There's no need to change anything or have anything be other than it is. Simply let things be. Give up the struggle to want calm or want bliss or want joy. And just simply wait and sit. You can't make the muddy water become clear by constantly moving it or wanting it to hurry up. You simply have to leave it. Let it be. Let it settle by itself. There's nothing for you to do, but just be patient. And wait. And the water will become clear by itself. Simply do nothing but be. last few minutes of the meditation, see if you can bring your awareness down into your chest or your heart area, or even extend it down into your abdomen. And take a few deep breaths. Just notice this central area. This seat of our feelings. Just rest in this heart area for a moment or two. This center of your being. Now try to bring to mind a time that you felt close and connected to someone. Could be someone you care for, a parent, a child. Just to bring to mind this time when you felt this unity, this connection with this other person. Or it can even be a time when you felt connected to nature. Or a pet. Or even you felt this unity or connection with a group of people. Or it could even be a time where you felt connected to something greater than yourself, something spiritual. Whatever that moment or situation or person is, just try to recall that feeling of deep connection that you had. And really try to sink into and notice that feeling at the center of your being of connection. How does it feel to know that you're a part of something know that there's care in your life, both coming from you and care coming from this outside connection, and that you're cared for. Really sink into that emotion. And notice if there's any specific kind of feeling there. Maybe loving kindness or care or gratitude or awe. See if you can allow this feeling to expand from your center, permeate and fill every fiber of your being. And this feeling of connection, it's not only something that is internal, but the connection is towards something external as well. It extends beyond you. Beyond your normal boundaries. Both flows out of you, but also flows into you. Now bring to mind a feeling of a time when you were surrounded by maybe a group of people. And you felt that sense of ease and unity and connection. That you're a part of this group. And that there was something that was aligned between you and the people around you. What's it like to feel like you're a part of something? Feel like that you're a part of group of people. What's that connection feel like at the center of your being? Is it full of ease, or does it feel fulfilling to know that you're a part of something bigger than yourself and connected, and that others are connected to you? And this feeling at the center of your being, see if you can allow that to expand and permeate every inch of your being. And again, to move outwards. This knowledge that you're connected and you're a part of something. Keeping your awareness at the center of your heart area, or your being. Also notice this feeling of sitting here. You may be sitting on the floor or on a chair. But in some way you're connected to the ground. And the ground is connected to this building. And all these other people that are sitting here with you are connected to you in this very simple way. But also they're connected to you through their aspirations of wanting to come and meditate, gain some calm and clarity and peace. And if we can even extend this further, this place where we're sitting, it's connected to the ground outside and any of the nature that's outside, the other people, objects, that this simple matter of you sitting here, you're in some way connected to everything on this earth. You're a part of this organism. And of the things and the people that are immediately around you, but also those things that are far away. Again, this feeling at the center of your heart. See if you can allow this to spill out into this broader nature around you. And that you're a part of it. And it is a part of you. There's no real boundaries there. There's no place where you stop and the world begins. Okay, hope you had a nice meditation. If anybody has questions more than welcome to ask now. Anybody in the room or online? Yeah, might as well start there.
This is quite an interesting question, actually. It's from someone online, Danielle online. So the question is, this morning when I was meditating, I got deeper than ever and my body started to disappear. This scared me a lot and I immediately opened my eyes. How do I get past the fear?
Yeah, good.
There's a second half to the question as well. I do have a panic disorder, but I want to get deep meditation without fear. Please help meditate. Yep,
very good. Well, Danielle, was it? Danielle,
yeah.
Danielle, good work. So it's moving in the right direction. It's a good sign that your meditation is progressing. And that's obvious from the kind of description of, you do feel like things are going deeper and things are starting to drop away. But it's really normal to feel this kind of fear when you do actually start to have these kinds of experiences, because it is something, maybe that you've never experienced before, and like anything that you've never experienced before, it can be a little bit daunting at that time when you actually do come up against it anew. So just know that because it is such a new experience and we're not used to these kinds of mental states, that they will be, sort of fearful in some kind of way. So we just have to, try to remind ourselves that this experience that we can have in meditation when the mind does become calm and things do start to drop away, there's nothing dangerous about it. There's nothing, nothing's going to go wrong when you actually start to experience this. We can just try to, ease yourself into it. And, there's going to be a few times you have this, the first few times that you start to experience it, you're going to have this kind of thing, you start to calm down and things start to drop away, but you pull back because you become frightened. You just have to ease yourself into it every time that this actually comes up. Maybe next time you do it, you'll realize it's like, okay, I've been here before. I know what this is like. I'm a little bit more brave in the next time, and I can sort of, move into it a little bit more. But then that might be, you might just move a little bit further past it and then pull back again. And again, the next time you do it, you'll feel a little bit more brave because you've sort of ventured further into it, and you'll be able to move further and further into it. So you really have to, it's something that you just want to gradually ease yourself into. You don't want to do either one of two things. You don't want to either run away from the experience. You don't want to pull yourself back from the experience and know that it's approaching and sort of back off from it. You do want to allow yourself to have these deeper experiences, but you also don't want to push yourself too far of like, okay, I'm gonna jump off the cliff on this one, because this could, potentially be more, anxiety provoking for you. But so just go at your own pace. Next time it comes up, just see if you can allow yourself to be in that experience for maybe a little bit longer, and then if it's feeling too worrying, sort of come out. Just sort of go back and forth a little bit like this. And eventually it will get to the point where you'll start to realize that it's like this is totally safe. This is totally okay. This is really this is the kind of freedom from anxiety that I've been looking for so long, and you'll start to learn to trust these mind states and trust the process a lot more. And the more you can trust that through more experience to them, then the deeper and deeper these will become. But it might take a little bit of time. It might take a little bit of time to move through these and eventually trust the experience more and more. But eventually, when you do it a few more times, then it will sort of move into those deeper levels of calm. And just the one last thing to remember with it is that when you are starting to have maybe these more positive effects from meditation, they won't always be the same every time. So you gave the example that things started to, if I remember, the things in the body started to drop away or whatever. Potentially maybe next time it might be something like the body's starting to feel like it's filling up, or it's starting to float, or something like this. So you might have different kinds of experiences, and every new different experience might be the kind of, ooh, what's going on here? You might get a bit anxious about them. But again, these are just these kinds of positive experiences that are coming about because the mind is starting to calm down and settle down. So again, just go slowly with them, trust that they're okay, trust that there's nothing wrong with them, and eventually you will hopefully start to move through it and get through them a little bit more. So, yeah.
Does anyone have any questions from the floor? No, not now. Okay, so we've got some more questions online,
Yep.
Ajahn. So from Susan, it's a pretty simple question, this one.
Yep.
Ajahn, could you please take some time to talk about establishing mindfulness itself?
Yeah, okay. So, Susan, establishing mindfulness, I'm just thinking about, I don't really like that word, establishing mindfulness, because establishing sort of means that you've established it and it's there, and it's always there. Like you establish a restaurant and the restaurant's always there. Mindfulness, I think, is something different. It's something that you have to continually try to work on, and continually try to bring about anew. Or it's something that you need to continually try to sink back into, as opposed to having it established and it's always going to be there for you. So obviously, I know what you mean. How do you go about establishing mindfulness? Well, essentially, it is this process. It's not something that you just do once. You have to continually work with this process of the your mind sort of wandering off and becoming lost in the vicissitudes of existence, and you bringing your awareness back to what is actually happening right now. And this is, you could say you've sort of brought it back and established it once, and you've got a little bit better at establishing it, but then everything sort of breaks away again. So you've established the restaurant, and an earthquake comes and breaks it away again, and you have to re-establish it again the next time. So it's essentially this continual process of always coming back to whatever you're experiencing right now, and really tuning in and sinking in to your existence. And the more you do that, the longer you'll be able to stay in these mindful states. The more you do it over and over and over again, the longer you'll be able to stay in those kinds of mindful states, because you will be developing the skill to a lot higher degree. So it is something that takes time. It's something that takes a lot of patience. It's something that, one thing I sort of notice with a lot of people when they first come into something like this, they first start to learn this this technique of something like mindfulness, and you go, oh, okay, right, I can be mindful at so many other times. And, the better you get at it, the more you realize it's like, actually, I'm not mindful that often. So sometimes it might feel like, well, I'm not being mindful for as much as I think I should actually be. But in essence, what's usually happening is you're just getting better and better and better at noticing the times where you're not mindful. So it will take some time, and it will start to feel sometimes like, well, I'm definitely not mindful at these stages, or maybe you overestimate how mindful you are at the beginning, and then a little bit later it's like, oh, well, my mindfulness is getting worse now. I'm not being as mindful as much. But essentially, I just think it's more along the lines that you're just noticing a little bit more your actual mind states and how mindful you actually are. So you have to be very patient with it. You have to have a lot of it actually sort of goes back to what I was saying in the meditation tonight. You do have to sort of be really patient, and you do have to wait, and you do have to try to continually develop this skill, and just wait till it gets to the point where it can actually be what we call established, where it is something that is there for a longer and longer period of time, or even to the point where it is always there. But that it takes a bit of time. That takes a bit of work. So just be patient with it. Just keep coming back whenever it goes off. Establish it again. Whenever it goes off, establish it again, and just be patient with it. So yeah.
Okay, so we'll take another question from online. This is from a person, I can't quite pronounce their name, so sorry about that. But the question is, I feel like all my emotions come from the center of my chest. I tried to explore this area, and after a while, my attention was directed to my navel.
Yep.
Should I explore further, or is this a distraction?
I'm assuming you're talking about maybe the practice we were doing at the end, where it's you sort of bring your awareness into this center of your heart or your chest or your center of being, where you actually feel some of these emotions. And so this, essentially, what I was doing there, it's simply just a technique where a lot of people sort of feel their emotions sort of in this kind of heart region or chest region. Some people feel them in very different places throughout the body, or maybe there is a feeling of disassociation there with how they experience the emotions. So it's not a hard and fast rule that you have to stay in the middle of the chest or whatever it is, or in the heart region. If you feel like maybe there are some emotions that come from your navel or something like that, then that's totally fine. So if you're just sort of getting, sort of interested in your navel, of like, okay, I'm in this chest region. What's my belly button feel like now? Kind of, maybe that might be something that's pulling you away from the practice that we were doing. But it's not necessarily wrong. You might actually feel like this kind of, I'm just making an assumption here. It's like you might feel this feeling of kindness or something welling up from your stomach region or your navel region or something like that. So you can investigate that. You can see, well, what is that feeling that is there? It might be something good, might be something bad, but essentially it's okay if you're sort of drawn to that in some way, and there is some kind of associated feeling there. If you're doing one of these practices like developing connection or kindness with others in some way, you're drawn to your navel in some way, then that's fine. It doesn't really have to be a specific spot on the body. It again, as I said, the reason I just talk about it being in the chest is because a decent amount of people say, well, that's where I sort of feel this sense of love or connection or happiness when I do experience it. So yeah, wherever you feel it, if you feel it in your I don't know, behind your right ear somewhere, then that's totally fine as well. So yeah, probably isn't a distraction, but it's hard for me to tell.
So last call for questions on the floor. Has anyone got a question from the floor?
Yeah.
Ajahn, I notice for my sitting, I notice a pattern where I like the analogy of things settle down. But for me, I felt like it goes to the right direction, it settle down, and then to the midpoint, and then just frequency of thought and stuff coming up, and then I lost from there. So I feel like not.
For sure.
So I'm not sure the cause of it, because it's kind of a pattern for me. So.
Everyone, I think, essentially I think it is quite normal to do that when you do a meditation session. Everyone will have a different level of, an amount of time where they feel like their mind can get calm and go down, and then you just sort of get to this point of like, well, sort of that's enough for me, and that's enough that my mind can sort of handle at the moment, and then it will just start to go back up again, and you'll get back into the normal discursive kind of thoughts. So it's nothing to really worry about. Say for example, I don't know exactly what you do every day, but let's just say you maybe meditate for 20 minutes a day, and that's sort of where you feel like it's good, my mind can become calm. And then after that, it's like it's too much. And so, not that it's too much, but it's, you're just not used to it. And so, for example, like tonight, we sat for an hour or whatever it was. You might have just sort of hit that level of like, well, that's about as much as my mind can handle at the moment, and it does go back. So, I always sort of give the analogy of like, the physical fitness of the body. Now, if somebody that's reasonably fit, they might be able to run 5 kilometers. But once they run 5 kilometers, it's like, okay, that's enough. I can't really do too much more, and I just have to walk the rest of the way. Maybe somebody that's a little bit more fit can run 10 kilometers okay, and somebody that's more fit than that can run 20 kilometers. So it really just depends how individually fit any one person is about how far they can run. So it's the same with meditation. How strong your ability to have some calm in the mind or to develop mindfulness, there's a limit. There is like a limit to that, and then the mind will sort of come back to it's you could say a bit more of that kind of normal kind of way that it's operating. And so that's fine. The more you practice, the longer that period will become. So say for example, now if it's 20 minutes, if you keep practicing over and over again, you essentially can get that up, push that up to 25 minutes, push that up to 30 minutes. With practice, those periods where you can just settle down and have things calm, it will get longer and longer and longer. The one thing that I didn't really talk about tonight, but that is actually really recommended in the kind of meditation circles, is this idea that you have these periods of where the mind does become very, very calm, and the mind settles down, but then naturally, as you said, it drops down, but then naturally it starts to move again. A lot of what's recommended in these kinds of times this is the time where when it does actually start to move again, this is actually time when we can reflect, or we can use our wisdom in some way. So you might actually use that active mind when it starts to move back again to investigate something like the impermanence of the body, or the impermanence of thoughts, or you might actually you might even move into something like reflecting and developing loving kindness or something like that. And so if you can do that on that period where the mind is starting to go back up, what'll happen is because you're still keeping it with some kind of Dhamma theme or some kind of Dhamma reflection, that that kind of wisdom faculty that we're doing, that'll make the mind calm again. And then, it will drop into that period of calm for a little while, but then it'll just naturally, again, start to come back out. You can go back to, investigating. And so you can go back and forth like this, and both sides of that actually start to support each other. The calmer that your mind becomes, and then when it starts to move again, and the more you develop this kind of wisdom, the more wisdom you have, the calmer the mind will become next time. That more calm will allow you to see things with deeper wisdom. So we can also go back and forth like this of going between developing calm and developing insight or developing wisdom. So that's also something that you can do as well. So yeah, does that make sense? Or yeah, very good. Okay, so that's very good. We're right on 9 o'clock now. So I'd like to thank you all for coming. Just a few kind of announcements, just to let everybody know that on Friday we're starting up a new program where we're looking at, and we'll be practicing more of these kinds of cultivating kinds of meditations. In Buddhism what we call the Brahma Viharas, where we're looking at things more like developing kindness and loving unconditional kindness towards ourselves and towards others. And even towards those that are difficult in our life, developing things like compassion and elevated joy and equanimity. So we'll be doing that on Friday nights from here on out for the next few months. You're welcome to come along to that if you're in the region and you want to get some good, happy, feely vibes, I don't know. So, and then on Sunday we have Ajahn Nisarano. He's coming to Ajahn Nisarano, isn't it? Forgot about that. Yeah. Yep. Good stuff. I forgot all about that. Yeah, just for anybody online that didn't hear that, we're also having a just anyone that didn't hear online. On Saturday, we'll be having a one-day retreat with Ajahn Nisarano. It starts at 8:30 in the morning, and if you're welcome to come along. And if you do come along, but please bring your own lunch. And he'll also be giving the Dhamma talk on Sunday. So, with that, we'll call it a night, and we'll hopefully see you meditating again at another time. So.